The future belongs to the people who ask the right questions. I'd like to ask interesting personalities of Cebu the hard questions, the controversial questions, questions nobody's thought of asking. I've always gravitated to the latest news about philosophy, religion, science, and politics. Some people think those are very divisive topics. I beg to disagree. Nobody has a monopoly on life's big questions. For half an hour, I will try to dissect on how these people think and hopefully gain insight and understanding. Join me in asking the right questions right now. Hi ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Mr. Jose Farrugia, tech geek, blogger and vlogger, that's with a V, and content provider. Hi, good afternoon.
Content creator.
Content creator.
Yes.
Content creator, Mr. Jose Farrugia. Tell us about yourself, Mr. Jose Farrugia, sir.
So, first things first, I'm not originally from the Philippines.
Okay.
I was born and raised on a tiny island in the Mediterranean Sea. It's called Malta, and it's part of the European Union also. And I was raised there. I went to school there for my primary and secondary education, and I moved back here to the Philippines when I was around 15 years old. So that's a little bit about history about myself. And right now, I'm currently, as you said earlier on, I'm a blogger and a vlogger. So what I do on my daily, on my daily job, or is just simply blogging and vlogging on wiredmash.com.
I know from our previous conversations that you used to work in a tech company.
Yes.
And there was a moment when you were just dabbling into the internet. You were just blogging and vlogging, and there was a moment in your life at that time that you decided to make the jump. Tell us about that exact moment in your life when you decided to jump into the internet completely, head first.
So mid last year, I started working with Asus Philippines, the laptop, notebook, and hardware manufacturer, and I worked for them for roughly about 5 months.
Okay.
And then I decided to resign sometime last December last year, and just move on and fully focus on Wired Mash. And prior to resigning, I actually started, going into full-time, sort of part-time blogging with Wired Mash 3 months prior, and then I decided last December 2012 to finally quit my job and just fully focus on Wired Mash.
What made you decide to make the jump from working at 9 to 5 in an office to the internet?
So basically, I just wanted to have full control of my time, and plus I didn't want to be sort of like a corporate slave, being under somebody. I wanted to be my own boss, especially with my time.
So you created wiredmash.com. Tell us about the story behind wiredmash.com.
So I started it back October 12, 2012, last year. I created my YouTube channel, Wired Mash also, that's youtube.com/wiredmash. And prior to that, I had several other blogs. I started blogging way back in 2004. I was actually blogging for a Dutch technology online magazine. It was called Tech Connect. It's still around. And back in 2005, I moved on to my own blog, which is called xpsource.com. It's a daily blog about guides, tech-related guides in regards to Windows XP. And then in late 2005, I moved to the Philippines, so I didn't really have much time blogging anymore because that's when I started college at the University of San Carlos. And then it was an on and off routine in terms of blogging. So I created yet another blog called mangochico.com, and then on and off again. And up until I graduated, I started techdron.com. That was a technology blog, same as Wired Mash, but just focused on the technology niche. But now with Wired Mash, it's mostly on different categories. I've got technology, of course, gadgets, travel, and of course even current events, my own opinions.
Okay, so speaking of current events, I know that your most viewed video blog or vlog is the one that involved you going to the DMZ. Tell us about that video, and tell us about why it has received so many hits all over the world.
Okay, so the DMZ is, for some who are not aware, it's the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, and it was set up after the Korean War. And anyway, I went there last year in April, and I managed to step foot for a few minutes in North Korea. It's a small building. It's like a small hut in the buffer zone, as they call it. And I just stepped foot inside North Korea. The doors are locked, so we won't need to worry about the North Korean soldiers, grabbing us or taking us hostage because the doors are locked. And right now, as you said earlier on, it's got roughly about 29,000 views on YouTube.
Why the interest on that particular video?
I took advantage of the tensions between North and South Korea last April, so I quickly edited that video, uploaded it, and I of course made sure there were the right keywords on it, like for example North Korea, South Korea, DMZ, etc. And I kept on posting it on Twitter with the hashtag, I believe it was North Korea, and people got to know about it, people got to view it, and then that's how it became popular.
You started going into the internet because of reviewing technology, or primarily because of that. That was the primary purpose or primary reason why you got into the internet in the first place. Of course, Wired Mash is still a technology review website, but it also does other subjects as well. So you've been reviewing a lot of gadgets for so many years now. In fact, one of the things that you do annually is to go to a big international tech event called Computex. Is that what it's called?
Yes, it's called Computex.
Okay, this is the one in Taiwan. And you did go there this year as well, last June.
Yes, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Tell us about your Computex 2013 experience in Taiwan. Why is it dubbed as the biggest technology show in the world?
So that's when most of the technology companies would unveil or reveal their latest hardware components and gadgets and electronic devices. So it's quite well known. It's not just focused on consumer electronics like CES, which is a consumer electronics show in Las Vegas, which is held every year in January. So everything is covered. So that's where everybody in the tech industry, geeks, hardware folks just attend the show, even buyers and sellers, because that's a place where top distributors and suppliers like Best Buy, Costco, and other companies who would go to Computex and sort of create or negotiate deals with these technology brands.
So this year's Computex, what stood out? What was the gadget that stood out? What was the new technology or new software that stood out among all the rest?
Every year it's usually ASUS who does, who seems to do a good job in presenting or unveiling their products. And again, ASUS was the one that was actually who did a good job again in coming out with new products. They came out with 8 new products this year. I'll just mention a few.
Yes, please.
One of their top products is called the Asus Transformer Book Trio. I believe that's the whole name. Yeah, it's actually a notebook or an ultrabook with a detachable screen in which the tablet itself can run 2 operating systems. That's Android and Windows 8. That's the Transformer Book Trio. Then they have another one which is called the Asus PhonePad Note FHD 6, which is actually a 6-inch smartphone with a stylus similar to the Samsung Galaxy Note 2. And lastly, they had...
So suffice it to say, ASUS did a good job as far as launching new technology is concerned. These are practical and everyday gadgets that we're talking about, right?
Yes, yes.
But how about those futuristic gadgets, those technology that is not yet practical and cannot be used yet on a retail or a consumer level, but is futuristic and is already under development? Do they have those, like in the same way that they do in car shows, those futuristic cars that are not yet out in the market but are already on display, the what do you call that, the sample copy, if you will? Do they have that there in Computex as well?
Yeah, MSI, another popular laptop manufacturer and gaming hardware manufacturer, showcased this concept. It's called the MSI mouse book. It's actually a laptop, an ordinary laptop, but you can remove the touchpad from its compartment, and you can use it as an external mouse. So it's beneficial for video editors who who don't want to bring extra additional hardware accessories like an extra mouse. You can actually just remove the touchpad and use it as an external mouse. And I believe it has a touch screen on it also, so you can use it. You can use it as a secondary display for whatever, Twitter, browsing the internet on that small 3-inch or 4-inch.
So you do have all the reviews of all these gadgets on your website already, or is it up?
Yeah, every day I'm uploading a few videos. I still have a long way to go, but hopefully by the end of July I'll have everything up in regards to Computex.
One of the things that we talked about a few days ago when you just arrived from the Computex 2013 in Taiwan was that you saw the light. You mentioned to me as far back as 3 months ago when you mentioned that you're an Android kind of guy. You like to use Windows. You like to use Android products, and you're not a big fan of Apple products. You mentioned that to us, in fact, publicly on the air and on our radio station, Y1, and you mentioned that as well. But now, after you went to Taiwan last June, you saw the light, and it was in the shape of an apple with a bite. Yes. What happened in Taiwan?
Most of my viewers and subscribers know me as somebody who's an Android guy.
Yes.
So, and I actually publicly at times say, even with friends, I would say, nah, you're using Apple. No, don't use that. Don't use it. It's crap. But sorry, Mabel. But when the last Computex, when I was there were only 2 smartphones which were sort of being used or are quite popular in Taiwan. There was the HTC One, which is an Android device. It's the latest one that actually looks like an iPhone 5 because it's made of an aluminium body, sorry. And the second, of course, is the ever popular iPhone 5. And I was just observing the people or the folks there who were using the iPhone 5. I was just trying to figure out why it's so popular. And I began to notice perhaps it's because of it's so simplistic, the user interface is fluid and fast. Because as we all know, Android is a bit, it's not that fluid, it's not that smooth compared to the iOS platform. So I decided, especially a day after I arrived back here in the Philippines, in Cebu, there was the WWDC, which is the Worldwide Developers Conference, which is done by Apple, where they unveiled iOS 7 and the new MacBook Air. And I decided, well, okay, it's about time, maybe I should give it a try. And I'm actually not so happy with Microsoft anymore with terms of Windows, especially with Windows 8 and upcoming Windows 8.1, in which it's a crappy user interface. It's a Metro style interface in which the user has to use, it's touch oriented, and they're going the wrong way. They don't seem to be listening to the feedback of customers, especially when we've been asking Microsoft to put back the start button, which they have removed in Windows 8. So I've decided, okay, so why don't I just shift to Mac since they listen to us?
Everybody's got an iPhone or any sort of a gadget on hand. Everybody in the world seems to have one of those. And, it is definitely a force for good because we can communicate with each other faster, quicker. We can take photographs and videos faster. We can upload videos, at the snap of the hand. My question is, this is something that is obviously become a force for good, but at the same time, it has also become a force for evil as well. A lot of people have also used technology in really evil ways, like cyber terrorism is also very prevalent these days as well. Can you tell us what is your take on the digital revolution that is going on right now? I know that you mentioned, and please tell everybody the story about how an entire government was overthrown thanks to social media. Tell us all about that, Jose.
So a few years back, it was known as the Arab uprising, in which it all started out in Tunisia, where several bloggers and social media advocates used social media such as Twitter and Facebook to organize rallies and protests. And they managed to overthrow the Tunisian regime, the government, in which that president has been running for 30 years now. And they managed to overthrow his government, and they started out fresh. And that later spread to other countries. It spread to Libya, which is a neighboring country to Tunisia. And then, Gaddafi was removed from power. And it also spread to Egypt, and I forgot his name actually. The president was overthrown also in Egypt. And then it also spread now, especially in Syria, where the Bashar al-Assad regime, the president of Syria, who's been actually again been running for the past 30 years, is there are a lot of actually millions of Syrians who are against his form of government, and there's actually a civil war within Syria, and that it's actually now expanding even to Lebanon, which is a neighboring country of Syria.
So what is the role of social media in these revolutions?
It's one way, for example, one way to organize and let the world know, since we're all interconnected now with social media, let the world know what these types of governments or what these kind of people, what they actually do and how they treat their civilians or citizens of that country. And it's another great way to organize, protests or rallies, just simply by using Twitter or a certain hashtag, or posting it on Facebook or on a Facebook page or Facebook group.
Those are some of the good things that social media and technology in general can do. But on the other side of the coin as well, there's also some bad things that are spread through social media, through simple gadgets. I know for a fact that recent killing in Britain was they were spreading terrorism through the internet. They were recruiting members online. And after which it ended, of course, on that fateful day when that policeman was murdered. The soldier was murdered in broad daylight. And fortunately, or unfortunately, whichever side you're on, there was a woman who was able to take a video of the killer, the perpetrator. And in fact, the perpetrator explained to everybody why he committed such heinous crime. Tell us about the other side of the story, the bad things that they use social media and gadgets. The internet.
That was the main point of those two guys, those two British, they're actually British civilians who sort of hacked and killed this British soldier. They wanted to gain an audience, they wanted to expose it, and they managed to do so by doing this this bad incident in which they had to hack and kill this individual. But I'd like to talk about another recent story. It's regarding, have you heard of PRISM?
PRISM, yeah.
You've heard?
Tell us all about PRISM.
There was this NSA, it's a national security agency in the US, a certain individual named Snowden. He works for the company, and he actually leaked to the world through the social media or through a certain publication that the US government uses or spies on civilians through social media. So they've already requested, for example, Facebook had over 9,000 requests from the US government in regards to certain users on their social media. Same goes with Twitter, Microsoft, Apple, and now today even Skype. So they use this program. It's called PRISM. It's a confidential, of course, classified program, and now everybody knows about it. And right now Snowden is actually hiding in Hong Kong, and his 90-day visa is about to expire, so he's got to find another place to put asylum, I guess, since the US is actually after him, and they want to impose sort of treason or charges against him since he broke confidential, classified level.
Well, this is similar to the WikiLeaks website, right?
And yes, exactly. In fact, I read this morning that one of the investors of WikiLeaks plans on flying Snowden to Iceland.
To Iceland.
Yeah, so they chartered a private jet, 220,000 US dollars from private investors, just to fly him from Hong Kong all the way to Iceland.
So WikiLeaks is a website that leaks top secret stories, right? And in this world of technology, there seem to be no more secrets. Where do you think you draw the line? Is the world supposed to know everything, or are there secrets that are meant to be kept? What are your thoughts on that? Because with all this technology, it is so easy to access top secret documents, top secret stories. Where do you draw the line? What do you think should the world know, and what shouldn't they know?
Nowadays, of course, with social media accounts, especially with Facebook, people have access to our personal or private lives already, unless, of course, you increase your privacy on Facebook or other social media accounts. In regards to drawing the line,
Tough question, right?
that's a tough question. Yeah, it's difficult.
Because there are some secrets that are meant to be kept. In fact, there's a reason why they're secrets. And in time, of course, they will be public. These secrets, these top secrets, will become public. But they have an incubation period of decades. Some stories are, in fact, still a secret now.
In regards to personal lives, I'm sure these will stay, a lot controlled compared to government or government secrets or classified projects, which are actually quite easily to leak due to for moral or ethical reasons. Just the same thing with Snowden, in which he leaked the certain prison program. Imagine he was earning hundreds of thousands, I believe, of dollars a month because of his job, since he was an NSA analyst, and he also left his beautiful girlfriend, who's actually a model, and now is just on the run. So there are two. In terms of privacy for individuals, it's more controlled from others. But when it comes to projects or classified
Government secrets,
I think it's easy. There are groups out there like Anonymous who go out of their way to hack or even gain access to these documents or files.
In a recent interview with Mr. Bryant, the guy from iCenter, he mentioned that it's not really technology that does good or bad. It's the people who use them. You being a child of the internet, you being a blogger and a vlogger and a tech geek, what are your core beliefs? When you're out there in front of the computer, what do you believe in? What are the beliefs that you have when you vlog, when you blog, when you post a video?
You've got to be responsible with what you post or discuss or even create content on the internet for, because it can always bite you back in the ass, if I don't mind saying. You've got to be responsible. That's the number one thing, and be careful of what you post, because at times, for example, libel. If you say something negative about a politician, and of course it's not true, you can be sued or a subpoena will be sent to you to appear in court. So you've got to be careful, especially with the cybercrime law, which is now actually which has been TRO'd already in regards to the libel section. You've got to be responsible with what you post. You have to make sure it's something positive and good.
So, but that is just for your posts and for your videos and for your vlogs. But what I meant by core beliefs is, is there an underlying philosophy why you do what you do? When you open your computer, is there a reason why you get up every morning and post those videos, those blogs? Why do you have to go out of your way to go to North Korea, to the DMZ, just to post a video? What makes you do those things?
I have to keep on living, I guess. It's my only way to sort of earn a living or live my everyday life. So that's why I look forward to when I wake up every morning. I have to make it a point. I know it's a home-based job. You just stay at home or go to cafes or Starbucks or Coffee Dream to work. But you've got to take control of your time and force, even if you're really lazy, you've really got to work hard and continue working because that's your job, right?
You know, a person's core beliefs really seeps through the cracks, if you will, in what he does. And I'd like to believe that whatever you believe in your home, in your in the confines of your home, whatever it is that you believe in, it comes out in your work. And my next question for you, Jose, is: would you consider yourself a spiritual person? Do you affiliate yourself with any form of organized religion and all that?
Yes, I'm a Roman Catholic.
Okay.
Born and raised. So I am, in terms of spirituality, not so, especially during the past few years. I guess I became less spiritual. I'm not so sure if going to church counts. But I do go to church. I try to go to church every weekend, of course, every Sunday or Saturday evening. But not really spiritual. Perhaps when I was a lot younger, I was quite spiritual. I would pray the rosary like once a week. That was when I was a child, though, but not anymore.
Was this a sudden event in your life when you decided not to become spiritual, or was this a gradual erosion?
It was a gradual, definitely. Perhaps during my teenage years, of course, when we start understanding how the world works, we have access to more information. We're not clouded anymore by our parents' beliefs or whoever's guiding us. For example, in schools. So, yeah, it was a gradual decline to spirituality. And can I share an experience?
Go ahead, please.
Yes. I remember one time a few years ago, I was attending Mass. It was just a typical Sunday Mass, 10 in the morning, 10:30, something like that. And I wanted to go to confession, right? So there wasn't a priest available. So I waited until the Mass was over and approached the priest, like, hey, do you have a minute or two to spare for a quick confession? And I said, no. I have another appointment to attend to. I said, it's just a minute or two just to hear me out. I said, no, but I'm sorry, but I have to attend this appointment. And that really pissed me off and frustrated me. I got so annoyed to the point that I told my mom, my parents, I'm not going to go to church anymore. How can a priest say something like that?
You're talking about his soul here, right?
My soul.
Yeah, exactly,
yes.
right?
Yeah. But I managed to have confession, managed to approach
Eventually.
another priest.
Okay, right.
And ever since then, that priest, I used to see him in school, and I would always ignore him. I mean, not ignore him, but I would not really ignore, but I would know that you didn't absolve my sins.
So this gradual erosion of your spirituality means that there is a direction that it went to the other side. In which direction did it go to? From being spiritual to what? Where do you find your inspiration now? Because normally the person's spirituality is what keeps him alive, if you will. Now that you've slowly removed that from your life, where is it headed now?
I guess to certain individuals, I guess, like in the tech industry, there's a certain vloggers or bloggers or individuals out there who I look up to, and who help me continue creating content every day. There's this particular guy from Seattle. His name is Chris Perelio. He used to be a tech host on the Tech TV back in the early 2000s, and I look up to him. He has a daily vlog now. He's got daily tech reports and does unboxings and reviews and whatever gadget reviews, and he's got over like 200,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that's what he does every day. That's how he makes his living every day. So I do look up to certain individuals.
Speaking of technology and religion, our Pope already has a Twitter and a Facebook account, and I think the Vatican is very much online now. And I think they're also trying to use technology to reach out to the flock, and in fact even converts as well. My question here, Jose Farrugia, is this. Technology is a vessel to information, and obviously you were more aware of what goes on in the world and not stuck with what your parents believed in. So it was pretty much technology that enlightened you, if you will. Um, do you think religion will be able to use technology to its advantage, or will it be the other way around? What are your thoughts on that?
The Vatican, as you said earlier on, they recently launched their Twitter account. I believe it was last year during Pope Benedict XVI, and they're still using it every day. And they're trying their very best to attract, you know, the medium that the youth uses every day through social media again. But they still have a long way to go. They're a bit late. They're actually very late. They should have done it a lot earlier. I guess it's something to do with the leadership of the previous pope, which is Pope John Paul II. Who I remember my parents, my mom would say that he would say that you don't turn off your TVs, turn off those radios, and just pray or pray the rosary, something like that. So I guess it has something to do with this conservative leadership role in the Vatican Church. But especially with the new Pope, Pope Francis, he's taking on a different role, and he's trying to really use the technology, you know, to attract more converts or try to gain or regain back the several Catholic youth through social media.
More traditional religions are sort of have a culture of secrecy. They want their people to read just one book. You know, that's a traditional way of thinking. Now with technology, everybody has access to any kind of information, and they have access to both people who believe in what they believe in and the complete opposite. My question is, when people have access to infinite amounts of information, when everybody knows everything, aren't we in danger of almost thinking alike all over the world? The phenomenon of homogeneous thinking. Everybody thinks alike all over the world. Do you think that can be a good thing, or is that a bad thing? Everybody in the whole world thinking alike.
Well, I would usually side on it's a good thing, actually. In terms of belief, it's not so good for the different religions around the world, because definitely people have access to more information, and they'll just probably walk away from their own religion. There'll be a gradual decline in terms of, you know, the number of people believing in that specific religion. Just like in the church, I believe it's in the Philippines or throughout the world, there's a slow decline of practicing Roman Catholics, because they have access to the internet or to more information or more data. So,
you know, one of the world's favorite heroes or idols, if you will, is Steve Jobs, obviously. And I don't recall any time in history when you know a person from the world of technology is their god, if you will, right? Because of all this access to information, we have so much access to all these personalities and people who we look up to, and like you said, you follow on their website. So it's a pretty exciting time to be a citizen of the internet. What you do at wiredmash.com is exciting. What you do is you review technology. Aside from that, what are the other stories that you try to capture on your website?
I mostly relate my travel experiences on Wired Mash. So whenever I, for example, attend a press conference or just go out on vacation, I always bring my camera around with me, and I would always relate my experiences through Wired Mash and on my YouTube channel. So that's the other category, which is travel. The next one is current events. I'm trying to get into that, and I might in fact create another blog just to focus on current events or or for example, there's a recent thing here in Cebu in regards to government red plate vehicles being used for personal use. So I might start out with that. I'll create a new blog and post pictures. Citizen journalism. That's right.
Okay.
And hopefully it will create awareness that others can will use it as a vessel to report these politicians or government individuals who use public property, taxpayers' money for their own benefit. If you don't mind, I can relate an experience.
Go ahead.
Yesterday, I was heading towards an appointment, and as I was passing by CATS, the Cebu Aeronautical Technical School in Lahog, I noticed a black Toyota Hilux vehicle, and from afar I was like, that might be a government vehicle, because that's usually the color of their vehicles. And as soon as I got closer, the plate number was S, which of course is a red plate, and SHW, and I passed by slowly, and I wanted to see who was inside. It was just like a driver lying around with his hands clasped behind his head, and a few students from CATS who were in the car inspecting it, checking it out. The hood was up, and I moved forward, and then I said to myself, "Nah, this guy. I want to know why he's here. Why is he at this school? Is there an occasion?" So I reversed, and then I asked him. I said, "What's the occasion? What's going on here in Visaya?" And he said somebody else approached. Another guy came to the picture, and it was the authorized individual who was supposed to be using the car. And I asked him, "What's the occasion?" And he said that he's allowed to use the government vehicle from Argao to Cebu City, for vice versa, for that particular day, for some apparent reason, because he's the SK chairman. And I asked him, "What's he doing here? Is this Argao? Is this okay? We're in Cebu City, but this is not the provincial capital." And he was obviously using it for personal reasons. And only to find out a few hours later, when I came back, the driver was still there, relaxing, waiting for this SK chairman of Cebu to return back and use that vehicle, a huge vehicle, an expensive 1.5 million vehicle, which definitely eats a lot of gasoline and whatever diesel, to bring him back to Argao. That's definitely for personal.
So these are the kinds of subjects, topics that you're going to be covering on your new website, perhaps.
And I'm still thinking of a name for it.
Citizen journalist Jose Farrugia. He's not going to be just a tech geek, a blogger and a video blogger or a vlogger.
Citizen journalist.
He's also going to be citizen journalist Jose Farrugia.
So you better be good out there, you politicians.
Jose, why don't you invite them to check out your blog, your website, your Twitter, your Facebook, etc.
So you guys can find me on
alive, hopefully tomorrow.
Alive?
Still alive, yes.
I hope so. So you guys can find me on wiredmash.com. That's my main technology blog. You can also find me on YouTube, which is youtube.com/wiredmash. That's spelled wired, WIREDMASH. And you can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/wiredmash, Facebook, wiredmash also. And yeah, that's basically about it. Those are my social media accounts.
Ladies and gentlemen, tech guru, vlogger, and now citizen journalist Jose Farrugia, or Farrugia.
Farrugia. Yeah.
Farrugia. I still can't get it right even at the end of the interview. Thank you so much.
Thank you.